Go Brock, it's your birthday.
Go.
Hi, I'm Brock.
All right.
Brutally Speaking podcast is live right now. Whoa.
Yeah.
How about that? We're on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, before they were just listening to you talk shit about Doc Oil.
Oh, I'm not talking trash about Doc.
Well, you could have been.
I even said that I wasn't mad.
Just really.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad, bro. I'm just sad. I'm sad. I'm sad disappointed. So what are we on? Are we on Instagram or are we on Facebook?
We're on Facebook and YouTube.
We're on Facebook and YouTube. I thought we were on Instagram.
No.
Okay. We did this last time on Facebook also, didn't we?
That is correct.
So in order to do Instagram, I just have to pull my phone out and do that thing.
Yep.
Okay. Well, good. Since nobody's watching, I just want to show off this amazing graphics card that I'm selling. I just love it. I just love it, man. Like it's weird, like how attached I've become to this in the 5 hours since I decided to sell it. Like I'm like, oh, but man, it's got like beautiful fans and like it's heavy. Like it's a heavy graphic. Like this is like really hot stuff back when I bought it. Like and like it's still a good card now. It's just not like the best, Anyway, there's that. Oh.
All right.
So how's everybody doing tonight?
Well, other than for those who are potentially going to watch this or see this at another point in time, I've had the just luxury of so many issues going on with my setup. The microphone you see in front of me is actually not where you're hearing the audio from. It's coming from my laptop.
I don't know, man. I'm hearing two audio feeds now.
And is that you on your end where you're watching it or something?
Probably. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not watching it. Am I watching it? No, I don't. Try not to. Well, that's probably what it is. Yeah, because that's why I'm hearing two voices, because I'm an idiot and I'm watching my own live stream. So there's that. That's amazing.
It dawned on me too that I had I needed to have my headphones into this so I can hear you through this, not through all the other bullshit.
Ah, very good.
Yeah. So what happens when you have way too many things you're trying to do all at once?
Yeah, I feel that in my soul.
And sucking at all of them.
Yeah, I definitely feel that as well. But yeah, I just love how heavy this thing is. Sorry, just can't get over it. It's just like, I mean, honestly, like I'm thinking about just jacking the price up and then being like, oh, it didn't sell. Yep. Okay.
I was like, what was the date on this beer? It smells not good.
Dude, so like I was at a gas station I was at a gas station the other day and I picked up a 6-pack of Snapper and I didn't buy it. I just picked it up and looked at it and like it was like Best by $129.19. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and not pull the trigger on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some drinks that you can get that are not like that bad, but that was bad. That actually reminds me of another actual logboat beer, which was it's called Bobber, and it's like my favorite logboat beer, but they never sell it anywhere like normally. Like they act like it's a seasonal beer, but it's available all year round. But you have to go to an actual liquor store, which is like way too much effort for me. But I did end up going down to a liquor store by Joe's house, my co-host on Discography Discussion. We both went down there. This is like right before COVID hit. So it was like the last time we did anything, like in studio. And we went to this liquor store and I picked up a 6-pack of Bobber and I was super stoked because I was like, oh, I never see this. And then we got it and it had like a Best By date on it of like 1/13/17. And I was like, well, yeah, I already got on this boat, so I'm gonna sail it. So I popped it open and it might have been the skunkiest beer I've ever had in my life.
This is not good.
What are you drinking?
It's Shorts Fruitasia.
Is that like Fruitopia, the old
Dude,
90s?
I was making the joke about that to Bridget somewhat recently. I was like, man, Fruitopia. I miss the. We used to have a Fruitopia machine at our school, so I used to drink it
same, yeah,
a bunch. Yeah, this beer's not great.
I'm sorry. What's it supposed to be flavored like?
A hazy India Pale Ale with mango, pineapple, and tangerine.
Okay, I mean, like on paper, that sounds good.
So here's me gonna drink this real fast just to get rid of it because I hate wasting beer.
Fair.
Oh. There it is. Yeah. Oh man, it doesn't taste any better when you slam it. And we're done with that one. Gross. I don't recommend that. All right, let's try one of these other guys.
I'm not feeling very adventurous tonight, so.
Well, weird.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm not like feeling particularly well either, so I'm pretty much just gonna have this one, and that's gonna be that.
So, do we want to do something really adventurous and go back onto Skype and have the recording of us doing our intro for the episode?
I mean, I guess so. Like if I remember to hit the record button, which I mean, I can do that probably like right now.
There you go.
Are we even still on Skype?
No, I ended it.
Oh, well, that's the thing. I get really attached to the John ends things, and I just don't know. Just don't know what to do. When John ends things.
When you end things, because you have to end things.
Because they're ending.
They are ending.
Yes. So glad nobody's watching this right now.
Well, someone just commented, "What's up, homos?"
Oh, well, that happens.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Where is that?
I can see
it. It's my boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna answer the call like Ghostbusters?
Something like that.
I meant the call that I'm calling you on.
Oh, I'm not seeing it.
You don't see it on Skype?
No, sir. You want me to call you?
I mean, sure.
Because I mean, I'll call you.
Yeah, you will.
I'll call you hard.
Yo, boss. Oh, there it is up there.
Yes, my boss. It's technically accurate.
I was just gonna do a phone call since you can't see me on Zoom or on Skype. I mean,
well, I just really enjoy looking at my own face, so
I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. I'm getting kind of a weird echo thing going on here, though. So like, I don't know what that's all about.
Do you have?
Did your microphone that stopped working decide to start working?
So my microphone actually, hold on. Well, actually, no. I would not want to turn that off. Let's just say.
I mean, we can be more than that, I guess. I mean, we're supposed to, keep that private, keep that on the DL.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I realize it's a secret to no one. Oh, how do you think I got that job? Ooh.
So I'm going to switch out.
And now I have a tonsil infection, so you do that, man.
Phone call since you're on that, and it'll be the same as the live.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's start recording for the episode that we're working on.
Okay.
And let me crack open this beer. Hopefully, it's better than the last one I had, which sucked. This looks really thick. So
well, if you didn't get weird beers, it wouldn't be so weird.
Well, this was a weird beer sent to me. I did buy that last one. I did buy this gross one. This weird beer was sent to me by Mark from Nothing More. Same with this horchata one I'm saving.
Oh, nice. Devout. Actually, I think we have that here at Friar Tuck's, which is our local liquor store. That's not a gas station. Yeah, I mean, down here at QT pretty much is the local liquor store. So,
all right.
I'm just sorry. I'm just having so much trouble concentrating after Alex's comment.
That happened.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope he did catch my joke about like, yeah, it's kind of weird that I got that job and now I have a tonsil infection. It's kind of messed up. We could say that like live on the air, right?
I mean, you just did.
I did. It happened. Didn't get censored.
Yeah, I don't have that machine here.
Yeah, Joe would have just beeped the entire thing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and then blacked out Alex's comments on Facebook somehow. Probably taking like a black marker and just marking it across the screen, being like, "It's censored, right? It's whatever you want, buddy."
Here's my graphics card that would have helped you with that.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, sorry, I got to list another graphics card on Marketplace here in about 10 minutes.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brutally Speaking podcast. I am one of your hosts, John, and with me, as always, is Daniel Terry. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, man. Hang on a second, though. I don't know if I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Cool. So whatever. Hold on, though. Talk to me real quick.
Talking to you. Talk to me. Talk to you.
Okay, I got it. Yep. Cool.
No.
Cool beans.
All right.
Now I just realized, though, it really doesn't matter whether I'm picking up your audio or not.
No.
So cool. Back on track.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hey, I'm doing great. I'm not doing great, actually. I've been sick for 5 days, and I'm doing great right now because I took a whole bunch of ibuprofen earlier, and I slept. I went home from work about 2 hours early today and slept for at least an hour of that, and then got up and was too exhausted to make food for anybody, so we ordered DoorDash. Burger King, which I ate, a meager meal for me. You could tell I was under the weather because I didn't get the Big King with bacon. And yeah, it's weird because like I think like my tonsils have some sort of infection going on. But it has not yet affected my voice. So we've got that going on. And luckily in my favor, freeze pops from the local store and carbonated drinks seem to help quite a bit. So it's weird though. Like I'm telling people like, oh, I've got this really horrible throat problem, but like I don't have any vocal fry going on or anything like that. So I don't know. It's been an experience, my friend, an experience.
Yeah. Speaking of experience, I'm going to try this Weathered Souls Brewing Costa Rican French press beer.
Okay.
Sent over in my care package by Mark from Nothing More. Apparently I got another one because I sent him so much beer compared to what he sent me. So.
Oh, that's officially on the record now.
Wow. That's really strong coffee flavor. I mean, I guess it should be with it being a French press, right?
Yeah, I mean the problem with coffee for me is that it just like
Let's see if I can show you how dark this is. Because we're right now, as when we're doing this, we're on the Facebook and YouTube Live. Can you see how dark that is on the rim of this can?
Oh wow, yeah, that's rough. That looks like somebody just threw some mud up on here.
Yeah, it's
I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those sometimes when you see your beer, you're kind of startled at how dark it is. I guess it's sort of like stool. Your stool sample should not be dark and thick.
Ooh, that's not good then. Should probably call somebody about that. Oh well.
I don't know if I can go see anyone about it.
Mm-hmm.
All of that aside, all of the beer drinking, I know Dan is drinking a Space Dust, as he showed me earlier. And I mean, if you listen to this podcast enough, you know that's what Dan drinks. So
it is. I mean, it's like, did you guys wake up this morning? Did the sun come up? Did it go down? Did it go down about 12 hours later? Yeah, Space Dust. Yep.
This episode's guest is Rachel Taylor, vocalist for He Is We. Again, we've kind of been telling you that we're going to throw these for some curveballs. We threw the Pop Evil episode out this past we threw out the Pop Evil episode out 2 weeks ago, and we threw a bunch of God damn it. And just in continuing with being, and continuing with just being, hold on, let me try that again. And then continuing with just kind of doing things that maybe you wouldn't expect from this show. Rachel Taylor actually is someone that I've been trying to get on the show for a couple of years. If you're not familiar with He Is We, wow, what a backstory. Pretty much anything and everything that could happen to a band in their run. Like, if a band were to last for like 30 fucking years, and you're like, wow, lawsuits, infighting, health issues.
Changing the band name to She Is We.
Yeah, I mean, the band changed their sound a little bit and so on and so forth. All of that and then some in a matter of like 10 years, I think, roughly.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really that long in the grand scheme of things.
No, and it's so weird sometimes. You hear people say like, "Oh, X amount of time ago," and they're like, "I know it doesn't sound like a long time ago," and you're like, "Yeah, I guess a decade can start going by pretty quickly." We're like, "That was 10 years ago." It's not that long ago.
Not really.
I guess having kids probably makes that seem like that for you too. Like where you're like, "Oh fuck, I sneezed," and you're 4.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. Like we had a new baby like 3 days ago, and now he's like walking and like saying words and
paying rent yet?
No, but my 6-year-old has a job, so there's that. She went to work yesterday. She loves telling me, she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go to work," and I was like, "Great, if you keep working, then if you work really, really, really hard." Dude, it's so funny because I've got this like amazing computer case, for my new PC build, and it's got like rainbow puke like LEDs all over it or whatever. And she's like, "Wow, that's like such a really pretty case and a really pretty keyboard that also has a weird rainbow design on it." She's like, "That's so cool." And I was like, "Yeah, and if you put your nose to the grindstone and you work really, really, really hard next year, I could buy another one." Having kids is great, man.
I guess. My puppy came up to me while I was painting my hallway and decided to pee right on the tarp. And I was like, "Really? This is what you're doing?" But I was like kind of not mad because I was like, "Well, at least it's not on the floor, technically."
Yeah, I don't know. I have a 2-year-old, and we're going through that right now. Pretty hardcore. So
do you just walk right up to you while you're doing something and just like drop trout and start peeing or shitting on stuff?
No, it's not quite like that. I will say, potty training is a exercise in trust. It is absolutely an exercise in trust, and it is rough. You have to give people their independence, but at the same time, they're not there yet. So like it's rough. I won't get into the grisly details, but I will tell you that yes, a lot of trust. Trust is the most important aspect of any relationship, especially when pertaining to potty training. And that's all I'm going to say.
Kind of also speaking to trust, I think, it was something that was kind of cool about this podcast, actually getting back on track, was, that Rachel really hadn't done a whole lot of press leading up to, the release of their newest single, Amazing Grace. Yeah. And I haven't really seen a whole lot come out since. So, I mean, I know we did this conversation a little while ago, but I think all the information is still pertinent. I think it's about definitely someone who has overcome the odds so many times, perseverance in the face of so many things. That was kind of really why I really wanted to have Rachel come on the show. I think she is someone that is a beacon of inspiration, honestly. Like, as much as I love Jasta for his, inspirational lyrics and so forth, and maybe that's not what you get from a He Is We song per se, I think the things that she has gone through as a person and as an individual and not backing down as a result of all the things she has been through is staggeringly inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster. Like looking at her history and all the, like in this band, and just the sheer amount of wacky randomness that seemed to take place. I mean, she starts off the conversation talking about how the van was struck by lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a scientist, but like, what are the odds of that? Like, that's insane. But I mean, the odds are also, of being, accused of sexual assault. Like, I mean, that obviously that's a whole different can of worms. But like, my God, man, like I don't think I could handle one of those situations, much less both.
Yeah. I love when my brain's trying to catch up, or I'm trying to catch up with my brain.
My brain ketchup.
Right now I got brain mustard.
Kaboom! Yeah.
All right. Figure out a way to bring it home for the outro or the intro.
Let's bring it home.
Yeah, I think it's oh Jesus, that doesn't work either.
Well, that's kind of the theme of the conversation, right? All goes back to Jesus.
It's true. All right. I think without further ado, I think we should get into this conversation with Rachel Taylor of He Is We, and we will talk to you afterwards.
Get some popcorn. It's a long one.
It was like an hour.
It's a long one, and I'm being a hypocrite. I'm Mr. This is a 2.5 hour discuss metal. Yeah.
Yeah, after you on that, as the story goes, you're like, oh, our train wreck of an episode of Esley Died.
I mean, was I wrong?
I am honestly surprised Joe never cut most of it, personally.
Dude, that episode has been downloaded over 1,000 times. Like, that is, I mean,
because they're probably like 4 hours. No, it can't be.
I gotta stay. It's funny too, because you're waiting the entire 4 hours. You're listening to everything we're saying, and you're waiting for that moment where it all makes sense as to why it was 4 hours, and you're never gonna get to that moment.
It was a lot of this.
It was a lot of that. Yes, it was.
And that's how Brutally Speaking was born.
I loved on that episode because I was just like,
oh, cool.
Yeah, so I did this episode.
Adam Morgan.
I was like, yeah, I did this interview with Adam Morgan with John, and then I've just kind of like been on that podcast ever since. Like, I mean, it's not entirely like how it went down, but it pretty much was.
Yeah.
Like it's much better to phrase it that way. This is fun, man. I'm feeling a little bit more relaxed because everybody can watch and see what we're doing. I don't know why.
It's just more fun, I think, to see how the sauce is made a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, and the cool thing too is this whole thing, like people can go back and watch this video even if they're not, because I mean it's like 10 o'clock at night, so like odds are people are probably already asleep or whatever. But like I'm sick and I'm going to work tomorrow because that's responsible.
Yeah,
I did have to take a COVID test. Yeah. So there's that, but I'm not showing any COVID symptoms like other than the fever. So
333.
It's probably fine, but whatever. I'll just wear my Donkey Kong mask. I have a super rad old school Donkey Kong mask that my mother-in-law made me. It's so cool too because on the outside it's obviously the king himself, Donkey Kong.
Billy Mays.
But on the inside it's all bananas. So it's like bananas pressed up against my face all day long, otherwise known as a regular Tuesday.
Billy Mitchell, that's who it was.
Billy Mitchell. Oh man, I could go on for hours about Billy Mitchell.
He's like the best worst guy ever.
Oh man, he's like the ultimate Bond villain.
Yeah.
I mean, did you ever see that movie he was on, The King of Kong?
Of course.
Oh my god! Like whenever he starts off, and like at first you're like, okay, he's a small business owner, so cool. He's not like a total nerd. Like he does a thing that's not video games, but he's also like the best Donkey Kong player in the world, right? But then he starts talking, and then you're like, oh no. Oh no, Billy, don't. And he's like, yeah. He's like, whenever I get a high score in a game, I don't put my initials. You know what I put? USA. Because it's USA. And whenever I beat you in a game, I don't just beat you. I Billy Mitchell you. And I was like, oh my God. I've had conversations, because I worked in a video game store. I've had conversations with 13-year-olds along those lines the entire time I worked there. But this is a grown-up.
Do you think his Asian lady wanted to fuck the other dude that broke his record?
Oh, for certain, yeah, absolutely.
She looked like she was thirsty for the Donkey Kong.
Dude, that movie, and here's the thing, like there's a lot wrong with that movie. This is great. Like this is not going to be on the episode. Like nobody's going to get any of this. But if you're watching now, you're going to get all of it. So
this is what happens when we record for real. There's God! Like 20 minutes in the middle that I have to cut out that is not.
It's like 30 minutes of audio and like a 3-hour conversation. Like that's what the Absolutely Dying episode should have been. But like the whole thing of it is that like there's a lot wrong with that documentary. Like they definitely. I do agree with Billy Mitchell whenever he says that he was kind of like set up for that, like set up to be the bad guy, because every good movie has a bad guy.
Oh,
you know, like every movie does, and so like, and he was perfect for it. He's got villain eyes, you know, but I feel like they made him look worse. But then, like a couple years later, he was like, "Hold my beer," because he then turns around and submits this super high Donkey Kong score.
Oh, yeah.
And then a YouTuber was like, wait a minute. So, like, most people, whenever they play arcade games, now, they play them on MAME, you know, like,
right.
You know, like MAME, like, you know, and that's what I use. Like, dude, I play so many old school arcade games on MAME because I'm terrible at old school arcade games. So having infinite quarters is a much cheaper option for me,
right?
Like for the most part. And so I'm like, yeah, dude, cool. Yeah. Bring it on. Like more quarters, you know? Well, here's the thing though. If you're submitting a video game high score, there's certain rules that you're supposed to follow. Like you can't use MAME because like, here's the thing on MAME, like, if I'm playing a game and I die, I can just like rewind the game for like 10 seconds and then go back, you know?
Right.
So this dude uploads, like what this YouTuber pointed out, is like, this is obviously like MAME footage. And this is him submitting it as an actual Donkey Kong store. That's against the rules. He's cheating. And then Billy Mitchell like threatened to sue the guy for like defamation or whatever, even though the guy had like video proof. Like it's like, dude, you got caught with your hand in the cookie jar, like for sure. Like there's no way to misinterpret that. God, don't you miss like back when this was controversy versus like people getting killed by cops, you know? Like but you know, whatever. People have been getting killed by cops a lot longer than that, just throwing it out there. But the thing is that like this dude was like set up to be like the Emperor Palpatine of video games. Like the dude just eats and breathes the dark side. Like he's just not he's not a good dude. And honestly, I would have him on the podcast tomorrow just to ask that dude some questions. Like dude, okay, like let's throw the public persona aside for a second. Like what is your actual goal here? Like,
sell the most barbecue sauce ever.
Do you? Yeah. Well, and dude, I'm sure his barbecue sauce is fine. Like I haven't ever personally tried it, but because I don't like want to actually send that dude like my $10 or like whatever it costs for a bottle of barbecue sauce plus shipping.
He'll sign it though.
Oh, he'd sign it, dude. And you know, here's the thing: he wouldn't just write Billy Mitchell would be cool enough.
USA.
He would write like Billy Mitchell, top like world's greatest donkey. Yeah, King of Kong, or world's greatest Donkey Kong player, or whatever. Like,
but that's what you'd want. You'd want him to sign it like that,
dude. You want him to sign it like that, yeah. And like, I mean, I would definitely prominently display it, but like, I don't know. You unfortunately made a small comment, and then I just like was like, oh, I'm actually super interested in this topic. But yeah, welcome to Brutally Speaking, ladies and gentlemen. This is what we deal with here.
Yep.
Oh.
That's my night juice.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't remember where I put my vape pen.
Well, I mean, Chuck Billy from Testament could help you with that.
I mean, I have one, and then I have the dude that.
Wait, do you have his?
No, I don't.
Oh, you know, the more I think about it, they should have sent us those.
So, here's a fun story.
I mean, they sent me the New Testament album.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna send like $100 vaporizer though.
Well, they didn't even. Well, okay, so I think the statute of limitations are up on this, right? Yeah. So they didn't even pay shipping on this. I had to go to the post office and buy shipping so that I could have my Testament album. Like, come on, guys! Like, really? They're like, yeah. The post office lady's like, yeah. They Nuclear Blast Records did not pay postage on this, and I'm like, wow. Like, I wonder if that's how they send their merch out. Like, it's very strange.
Yeah. So, fun story. Everyone who knows me knows that I pretty much drink a lot.
No,
I got the body, I do. But so a friend of my wife's once gave me all of her weed, and I was like, because when you think of people who smoke weed, it's me.
Me also. Oh, we need to
pause for a minute and come on here. Okay.
Special guest. I'm sorry. I'll keep the people entertained.
Okay. What you gotta do, friends?
So, all right, it's just me. So here's the thing. Now I wasn't actually expecting any of that. So, is anybody even watching this? Like, I can't even tell, to be honest. But yeah. So I'm running. Brutally speaking, now the boss is out of the room, so I'm basically in charge now. So who's got questions? Anybody got any crazy questions? Because I certainly do, but I don't want to ask them to myself and then attempt to answer them, as that's kind of the pitiful isolation that I can come up with. So what's up, John Marshall? You got questions? I hope you got questions, because John disappeared, and I so yeah, I'm just it's like the little kids running the candy factory over here. John just got a new dog, so he's enjoying the I mean, I guess it's kind of like fatherhood. Am I excited about the new Lamb of God album coming out this Friday? Yeah, absolutely. And it's actually one of those albums, like, a lot of the times, and this isn't just like tooting my own horn, but like, we usually are able to get advanced album streams. We were not able to secure this one, so my anticipation is actually much higher than it normally is, just because, like, I haven't heard it. I've only heard what they've shown us so far. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked. And I actually just recently got a case of the Lamb of God. Oh my goodness, what is it? It's Ghost Walker, I think. Yeah, the Ghost Walker non-alcoholic beer. Did not dig that very much. But I think I'm going to enjoy the album a lot more than I did that. That was kind of a missed opportunity for me. Okay, so you've heard it. So I mean, you don't have to spill the beans, but like, are we? So we're gonna love it. We're gonna love it, because I need something as kind of like a palate cleanser. Because I'm not saying that the last two albums that I've listened to haven't been great, but it's been a rough couple of weeks for me. So I'm gonna need like a Lamb of God boost for sure. So you streamed it for your podcast, so that makes me wonder, if I dig into the emails, if maybe I can stream it, but I don't know if I can. I guess it just depends on. Let's see. I'm actually going to pull up the email right now and see if like I missed something, because John usually takes care of a lot of all this stuff as far as the administrative email checking type of stuff. So. Let's see here. This is riveting stuff. I know, like watching me check my email, but I gotta know. So let's see here. Brutally speaking at gmail.com. Let's see. Okay, so you're gonna have to help me out. Is it BODS Mayhem Hour or is it BODS Mayhem Hour? Because if I'm shouting it out, I gotta make sure not to mess it up. Oh crap! Dad's back home. Man, Dad's back.
John Marshall, we already have the record.
We do have it because I just went on this huge thing about how we did not have it, and I must not have noticed it.
Yeah, we have it.
Okay.
But you know what the funny thing is after they were trying to hit us up to do whatever, I invited the music that someone will send me a blast email, and then like they'll get going pretty far along, like, oh, you talked to someone from the band already pretty recently about some other thing, and oh, that's cool, and then it just turns into sorry, management's they're not doing any press. And, like,
and your co-host said that he hated the beer, so there's that.
That's what it is, I guess.
It's fine. Yeah, I was just talking to John. Is John's podcast called BODS Mayhem Hour or BODS Mayhem Hour? Okay, I was just wondering because I'm trying to like do a shout out here. I'm gonna check it out though because I've kind of like been dry on podcasts lately, and I kind of need to get back into it because I'm not. I don't know. I'm finding myself having a little bit more spare time with being sick. So, and this has been the annoying part about being sick. BODS. Okay, cool.
Like Boddingtons.
Yeah. So BODS Mayhem Hour. Check it out. It's awesome. I haven't listened to it yet, but I will. So
it's basically a podcast where they just shit talk Dan Terry.
Oh, okay. So there's like thousands of those out there. So, I mean, pretty much an A+ for me. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts for sure. I always want to leave somebody. I always want to leave like a 5-star review on a podcast, but then like the actual text, like just trash it the entire time, and just be like, "This is the worst podcast I've ever heard." I only gave it 5 stars so that they will actually read it.
So basically, this show.
Absolutely. Well, you know, John, we wouldn't get bad reviews if you didn't hate the Howard Jones era of Killswitch Engage.
I hate it so much.
You hate it so much. I know. That's why like my computer was so starstruck by Howard Jones being, you know, coming through it that it just decided to crap out and stop working entirely. So like that was, what's the word I'm looking for? Amazing. And I love to. I listened back to that interview a few times, very angrily, and when I
just holding all those podcast beer in his hands, like, wow,
they're all empty. I remember being like, "Who drank my beer?" Like, this is
dude,
not
watching you crush the. So like
it was depression crushing. Like,
dude, you were like pounding those. I was like, thank God Howard can't see this.
Oh my God. He's like, wow. He's like, I heard that the Brutally Speaking guys are alcoholics, but this is outrageous. But you know, well, yeah, dude, Powerade. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. But
no sugar.
Oh no! Oh, I cannot drink that stuff, dude. Like no sugar stuff, like gives me gas. Like I inflate like a hot air balloon and just float away, dude. It's not great.
It's not all beer.
It's a problem I have.
Let's wrap up this episode.
Oh yeah, we're doing an episode, aren't we? I thought we were doing like a live thing. We're like kind of doing both. So.
Yeah.
Let me put on my professional face and go from there.
Two birds, one stone.
Here we go. This is my professional face.
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, John, that's a great point. I mean, I've never really thought about it like that before. What did you say? Yeah. What? Who's he? What's it? Oh yeah.
So that was my conversation with Rachel Taylor. A little bit of a long guy there for you. No, don't say that.
Long gal, really. I mean, it's like the Stretch Armstrong of episodes.
Yeah, I'm gonna redo that where it doesn't sound so creepy.
So creepy.
Maybe it's the weed kicking in.
He didn't ask her like how she smells, you know. So there's that. Which, I mean, honestly, it's good that I didn't talk to Howard Jones because if I had, then I would have asked him that. It would have been really weird.
Fair enough.
but important.
So that was my conversation with Rachel Taylor of He Is We. Really informative, long chat. I know seemingly it felt like I did a lot of the talking, but you know, when you have someone that's had such been through the ringer in the industry, it's like you want to make sure that when you're asking a question that you're, you know, getting it all out there so they can answer all of it.
Yeah, no, that was great. I enjoyed that. Like, I mean, I really didn't think that I would. I know you were like trying to sell me on it for a while, like saying that like, oh yeah, like it was a Christian band in the semi sort of, you know, yeah, whatever. Like, well, let's not split hairs here, but like, you know, in that scene, and I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Are there screams and breakdowns? And you're like,
only like, between each other.
I'm like, does the band rhyme with mayo? Because if it doesn't, I don't know who that is. But I have familiarized myself with it, with their music, and I actually kind of liked it. And I was actually really surprised once I started digging into the band's history and finding out like everything that basically she had gone through, and the people that she had gone through, and you know, like it was very eye-opening, and to hear her perspective on some of this stuff was really good, and she was very open, and that's one of the things that we value a lot on this podcast, because you can get a little awkward whenever you're getting into some of the more personal details.
Well, and what kind of was a little bit awkward too on occasion was even just the fact of, and this kind of sounds shitty to say, it's like, you know, I didn't necessarily want to talk about the sexual abuse allegations and so forth, because at the time of when we recorded that was all like had just been, you know, figured out, and all the details of that kind of came out. But I didn't even know that at the time. Rachel actually was like, oh, well, you know how that went or something to that effect. And I was like, no. And then kind of like I got filled in like in the moment as well. But it's, like I said in the intro, it's just to hear what Rachel has gone through. I mean, like you said, throw one of those things at me. Fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah, dude, game over. Like, game over. Yeah, 100%.
And it's just a thing where, you know, I think that's the thing. Like, you know, even like on the She Is We record, you know, like I said in the interview, that song Boomerang, it's like, it doesn't sound like anything, and really that record doesn't really sound like anything that you would have expected from Rachel or He Is We at the time, but it's infectious, and she was able to take some of the shit that she went through and turn it into a really fucking catchy song. And it's, again, beating a dead horse, but just perseverance. If you don't listen to this and aren't inspired to overcome any of the setbacks that maybe you're going through in life, I mean, Rachel has had everything thrown at her. And that in her personal life as well, you know, with her sickness that she went through as well. Just hats off. I mean, like I said, it's inspiring to hear someone who just has no quit in them.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that type of determination is definitely not something that people, that most people, I feel, are going to be, able to withstand. I mean, for me, I would just be like, well, I guess I'm just going to save face and just kind of like back off into the sunset, and that's going to be that. You know,
a lot of people have. A lot of people that have gone through even an iota of what Rachel has gone through have packed it in or just disappeared.
Totally.
It's I don't know. Like I said, I wanted to do this episode for so long, and I felt like I kind of fanboyed out for my wife, for her, with this chat. But I think a lot of longtime He Is We fans are going to get a lot of answers to things that they've wondered about the band's history, the past, things going on currently, and so forth. I wish it looked like Rachel was kind of poised to start doing some new stuff. You know, like I said, Amazing Grace had just dropped as of when we were doing the interview. Yeah. But I think at this point, like everybody, it's kind of like well, do we put anything out? What's the point, kind of, maybe? Sure. So hopefully some new music will come out, because I'm interested to see what this whole thing that she's gone through has inspired. lyrically and being able to talk about over the course of a record. Always something that Rachel's always been great at is, using her words to tell a story. But all that aside, we're going to wrap up this episode. If you would like to, and I did not write any of that
down. Great work.
I was about ready to start spotting off, and I'm like, I don't have that anywhere. I better pull that up real fast.
This is our fearless leader, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, but at least I realized instead of just talking out my ass.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. I've been doing it for 193 episodes, something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you guys have something planned for your 200th episode?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to tell you what it is because, it's a surprise that only I care about. People tend to like to just, okay, all right. You know what? Screw it. Joe can't hear me. He doesn't do Facebook. So it's going to be Testament. We're going to do a discography discussion on Testament, finally. What do you mean, We've been promising that since the original Pantera episode. This is it's like a huge deal, man, in DD history, okay?
I did not know that. I didn't know you've been... I mean, you guys promise and promise so much shit that I'm just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So when you're like, we've been promising that forever, I'm like, I guess.
Okay, so let me be real here for a second. Can I be real with you for a second?
I think we're in the same space.
I mean, we're in the same, MySpace. Anyway, okay. So we tried to record a Pantera episode. Not Pantera. A Testament episode. I want to say about a year ago. But Jeff and my performance was so off that Joe basically, like, we got about 30 minutes into the episode and Joe was like, yeah, this doesn't sound good at all. You guys sound like you need to go home and get some sleep. So we kiboshed it. And so we're just getting back to it now as we approach the 200 episode mark, which is like incredible to say, but like it's weird. I mean, I've definitely done a lot of bucket list things since then. I got to be on As the Story Grows, which was one of my favorite podcasts. So getting to do that was super cool.
I feel like I should be on there soon.
You should be. All you got to do, man, you got to reach out to Brian Patton. He's the man that makes it happen.
I assume no one gives a fuck. I mean, I already did. Well, I did technically one podcast since the other one I don't think will ever come out at this point.
Right, yeah. I know what you're talking about. I'm in on it.
I wanted to hear it back because I don't remember. I drank a lot in that one too. Apparently, I just drink a lot.
Same. Well, I was on Matt Nas from Roach Coach's Matters podcast a couple of years ago now. And it's basically the exact same interview that I did on As the Story Grows, but
slightly updated
with a lot more. Yeah, I think that one 2 years ago, I was like, yeah, I don't know why people don't listen to my podcast. Like, I mean, I'm great. That's what I tell myself in the mirror every night before I go to sleep. But one day the world will see.
Yeah, it will. Trying to. I couldn't find my lighter.
Oh yeah, we're doing an episode. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're doing it in a second once I get this match to fucking light.
I'm feeling better than I felt in like 5 days. So,
alcohol will do that to you.
It will not. I'm not going to be. It's funny too because like Alex was posted. So like tomorrow morning it'll be like 7:00, and I'll be like, "Hey man, I'm just really not feeling it today," and he's gonna be like, yeah, you were up talking to John last night for like 4 hours. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of why I'm not feeling it today.
Anyway, if you let me just redo that. If you would like to
make it amazing.
Yeah. If you would like to keep up with He Is We, you can follow them on Facebook at heiswe.official, Instagram at heiswemusic, Twitter at heiswe, and sorry, I thought I got a text. And online at those are all online. And follow
Professionalism.
Yeah, I got like 40 minutes I'm going to have to sift through.
I've been recording the whole thing, man.
Yep, me too. Or keep up with them at their central hub, weareheiswe.com. And if you would like to keep up with all things this podcast, nope, that's always Dan I throw it to. And if you would like to keep up with all things going on with Dan, he'll tell you what he can be doing. Probably selling a graphics card is best I can tell.
Okay, so I've got this amazing graphics card, right?
Local pickup only.
Local pickup only. So unless you're like watching this, then you can, I don't know, PayPal me or Venmo me or whatever it is the kids do these days. It takes up 2 PCI slots. You can hook up to 3 display ports and 1 HDMI on this baby. It has got it has got heat sinks out the butt.
Did you say hink sink?
Hink sink. It's like heat sink, but it's hink. Hink sink out of the butt. It is amazing. It'll play the games. It does the games. It loves the games. And you can buy it from me for some money. Yeah. So that's what I got for that. But if you don't care about any of that, it's fine. You can keep playing in just 480p or whatever it is you play in. That's perfectly fine. But you can also find my other podcast, Discography Discussion, at discussmetal.com. You can send me an email at danieljosephterry@gmail.com. Cut that out of the podcast. That was my personal email.
But it's on the live.
Yeah, but they can read that. That's fine. Whatever. Yeah, fine. Send me an email there. You can email me at discussmetaldan@gmail.com. You can hit me up on Twitter at discussmetaldan. I am on Facebook under plain old Daniel Terry. So it's just this beautiful face. If you see this face, you got the right guy.
And if you would like to keep up with all things this podcast, it's simple enough. Bruce Speak Pod. Or if you're feeling adventurous and you're on the interwebs, go to brucespeakpod.com. We have our website up and running. I think it looks pretty rad.
Dude, it's running so fast I can't even catch up to it. It's almost like if you wanted to view this podcast, the best way to do it would be with this graphics card. I mean, I am telling you what, man, this thing will kill it for you. It is a GTX 960, 4 gigabyte. And you know what? If you are a listener to the podcast, I will sign it for you if that sweetens the deal for you at all.
Well, with an offer,
dude, I'm trying to sell something. So what I need to do is get a publicist, and then I need to have the publicist reach out to you and be like, no, Dan's really cool. You should talk to him. He's totally not just trying to sell you something.
What if that was the podcast?
Available on Facebook Marketplace right now.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man. I'm just trying to think of how many more ways I can derail this. This is becoming kind of a personal, fun game for me. 53 minutes. Is anybody watching after 53 minutes?
Who knows? One person apparently is.
Somebody is. John Marshall, he's here. He's in it to win it.
What about your sister, Sarah Marshall? Did you forget about her?
Oh man, that's rough. That's John. That's disrespectful.
Well, you know. Here we go. And another thing you can find on our.
This is every night. This is not because we're on Facebook.
Yeah,
this is
true.
Totally just the way it is.
Oh shit! And here we go. And another thing you can find on our website is our sponsors, and we would like to take a moment to plug them and thank them for coming on and supporting us during these pandemic COVID times. First of all, the Bean Bastard, a 2-man operation out of Buffalo, New York. They are doing great things, donating coffee to the first line responders and so forth. So just a company you have to get behind. I'm not even going to give you the option. So go to thebeanbastard.com, pick up some coffee, support those guys. They put a lot of love into their product, and it shows. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at The Bean Bastard. If you want to go to On Point Pomade, I know salons are open up. People are able to get their haircuts. I'm getting mine cut in a couple of days. I'm fucking stoked. On Point Pomade.
I already got mine cut. Because I'm amazing.
OnPointPomade.com. Get you Jesus Christ. OnPointPomade.com. Keep your beard and hair looking on point. Use our code BSP15 and get 15% off your total purchase. Might be having Maddie Mullins do an Instagram Live with us here soon, so that'll be fun. Maybe do a giveaway if I can talk into that.
I could definitely use it.
Yeah. And last but not least is Rockabilia.com. They have been amazing since they came on. It's been about almost 3.5 months now. They came on for a little bit longer. So I guess they like what we're doing. We like the products they have. I mean, they have over 500,000 items for sale, including pretty much any band that you would want to do including just about any band that you would possibly want merch for. Unfortunately, there is no He Is We merch on there. I just checked. But maybe if you ask nicely, they'll get some there.
But dude, like that's not just like a shill, right? Because like you were like, hey, pick a band. And so I picked a band and I looked on the website because I was like, you know what? I'm going to pick some random band and see if they actually have what I'm looking for. So I went relatively obscure. I went with Swedish death metal legends Dismember. And I wanted a t-shirt of their first album, Like an Ever-Flowing Stream. And dude, they had it. Like straight up. They're like, what size do you want? What color do you want? You know what I mean? It was like straight up, like just right up there. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, 2XL. And there it is. They have it. They, like anything you want. Like I searched Carcass, they have Carcass. I searched Zao, they have Zao. They've got everything. They've got In Flames if you like terrible music, and like it's awesome. Like I don't even know how to describe it. This place has like all the shirts, all the wristbands, all like everything, dude. They've got it all. It's pretty cool.
And on top of that, we now have a new code that you can use when you're on Rockabilia if you want Lamb of God, or I'm sorry.
I don't want Lamb of God beer.
No. And I know we already advertised it last week, but we have a code again, still. No.
We still have the code. That's so cool. I love it.
I got the Contra code.
Up, down, down, left, right, A, B, A, B, A, B.
Oh, fuck.
I don't know if that was even right, but oh well.
Definitely to tell you if you're wrong.
For sure.
But if you head over there now, you can use our discount code BREW15 and get 15% off your total purchase order. So now it pays to listen to us do these ads. Because now you're saving money on getting your hair and beard looking good with On Point Pomade. And we're saving you money on your clothes.
You're going to look amazing. Like that's the end result. You're going to look amazing. You're going to be wearing the right clothes. You're going to have the right swag, and your hair and beard are going to be on point.
I mean, you might as well thank us for the, making your wife happy, getting the girlfriend of your dreams, boyfriend of your dreams, getting the job promotion you've been waiting for. You can thank us for giving you the codes to Rockabilia and On Point Pomade. I mean, you're welcome.
When they ask you, they're going to be all like, yeah, this dude with like neck tattoos and this dude that has a tonsil infection told me to buy these shirts, and I did, and here we are. Like, I mean, I basically just like walked into a bank and they started throwing $100 bills at me. Like, that's what happened. So, make sure to share that story, share a link to the podcast, and we will be very appreciative of you supporting what we do, because we're really just looking out for you.
Absolutely. And for the Brutally Speaking podcast, I am John.
I'm Dan.
We'll talk to you all next time.
Sweet. Hey, I don't want to jump off Facebook, but I'm going to run in like drop some liquids in another liquid. And then I'm going to like swirl the liquid down into pipes to go into more liquid under my house. So with that being said, I will be back. I'm going to punt this thing over to John. I'm going to stop recording because that's like 50 minutes that we're not going to use most of. So there it is. Cool. I'll be back. You guys will stay tuned. Yeah, I'm going up, so you don't have to see how gross my basement is. Y'all ever seen Hoarders?
Oh, fuck. All right, well, since I don't need this microphone anymore, I don't got to play pretend for Facebook's sake. So basically, that is behind the scenes of what recording for the episodes looks like. Dan makes me laugh, and I'm gonna swap these out now so I can actually hear people when they talk when Dan gets back before I forget, like Slipknot. But no, that basically is how I record the episodes. I've talked to Dan about doing these like that before, and up until recently, Dan was pretty shy about actually doing any of that kind of stuff. So to see him kind of get out of a shell, I think you guys are seeing more of what I enjoy doing on my Tuesday nights, which is hanging out with Dan and bullshitting for a little bit. No, I'm actually really excited. We're dropping the Trivium episode on Sunday, and I still got to just quickly do the edits to Dan and I level and edit Dan and I's intros. But I think the trivia one's pretty cool. It's kind of a bit longer too. We've actually been, I mean, thanks to the pandemic, the episodes have actually been kind of running a little bit longer than normal, and I think has led to some better episodes. Personally, I know Dan is a bigger fan of some of the longer form things. I feel bad for him because he's got to listen to them. We got one coming up though with Christopher Hall of Stabbing Westward that I think is pretty fun.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh shit.
Oh, was I blow your eardrums out? If so, great work, me.
Oh, I think did I not shut? Yes, I didn't.
Technical difficulties.
Oh, you're on Skype. I was like, why the fuck was that so loud?
Oh, do we need to still be on Skype? Yeah, I don't think we need to be. Yeah,
we're not.
Oh, you hung up on me. I feel like you broke up with me there. Okay. It's fine. I'll get over it. Oh, okay. Cool. So who are we gonna have on? I don't really pay attention to these sort of things.
We have Christopher from Stabbing Westward coming on. I mean, we already did it. The episode's already done.
Yeah, you did that already. I listened to no, I didn't.
I was like, no, you didn't.
I was gonna lie and say I listened to half of it, but I didn't. So I'm a lying sack of crap. So keep that in mind on future episodes. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely this is cool, dude. I like doing this live stuff because,
well, like I said when you were gone, I was like, this basically is what Dan and I do.
Yeah, 100%.
No one hears it.
Like we take it seriously, kind of.
I'm doing hella illegal activities while we're doing this.
Absolutely. Well,
actually, it's not illegal anymore. What am I talking about? It's not illegal.
I was gonna say I don't think you're doing anything illegal.
No,
it would be for me, but obviously, if there's anybody on this podcast that needs to calm down, it's me. I'm exporting our episode in WAV file so that John can wave his magical wand on it. The only thing that bums me out is this wasn't you're like, oh, he is we. I was like, sweet, he is legend. Oh no, never mind.
I've been trying to get Skylar to come back on.
It'd be awesome. I'd love to talk to Skylar. Let's be honest, I won't, because you're going to do this at 12. You're going to do the interview at 12:30 in the afternoon, and then I'm going to be all like, "Yeah, it was a great interview, John." Because that's how I roll. Oh. Yeah, if you didn't know, I open all of my beers with a 7/16 wrench. So, that's a thing that now. You can't ever take it back. Oh man, this is cool. I appreciate the people that commented, even if one of them was my boss. Not great. But yeah, I mean,
let's see if we can bring anyone into this real fast.
Let's throw it up, man.
Oh, here we go. Hold on.
What do we got? We got somebody? We have a human being to bring on?
I might try to bring on a human being.
You should bring Christian on, ex Il Nino. That dude's awesome.
I should text him. He's probably not doing it. Well, he might have his kids.
I have my kids. They're in bed. It's late at night. It's fine. His kids are probably also in bed or out doing something awesome. This is the wait music provided by yours truly.
Yours truly.
Having a lot of fun when I'm sick, apparently.
Just bring Corey Unger onto this bitch.
Just bring Corey Brandon on. Be like, dude, come on.
I can text him, but I don't know the really responding to stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. His Twitter is no more, so there's that.
I don't even know if I've seen him on Instagram either.
Really?
I'm sure he deleted everything. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, I just saw a really sweet meme. It says giving up is not an option when you have someone calling you dad. That's why I went to work sick today. I mean, 100%. Dads don't get days off. Pardon me while I shamelessly check my Instagram likes.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can drum up a guest to come on this with us.
Well, I waited like 3 days before I posted the Unearth episode on Instagram because sick. Like I just I mean I would like to say I'm probably feeling a lot better, but I think a lot of that is the beer and the ibuprofen talking. But I mean,
dude, whenever I start getting like a fever or whatever, I will it's somewhat par for the course. I'll just start sometimes I'll start drinking like whiskey and not only and like wearing like sweats and stuff like that. So like when I fall asleep, I'm like sweating everything out. And I know it's probably not the best way to break a fever or to treat a cold or whatever, but I'll definitely say like it helps quite a bit.
Well, it's like our great leader Donald Trump once said, if you could just use disinfectant on the inside of your body, then it would be fine. So I mean that's basically what whiskey is, right? Right?
Yeah.
It's good advice. We're medical professionals. You should listen to us. We're not. I mean, I kind of work. I've been a biomed for a while, so like I fix broken medical equipment. So, I can't really look at like a burn for you and tell you if you should go to the hospital or not. But, I definitely know you shouldn't smoke while using an oxygen concentrator because then I have to throw it away. I can't even fix it. So don't do that. Actually, it's funny because like some of those concentrators, like it looks like they just stuck the cigarette in the inlet filter and just smoked it through the machine. Like, I mean, which don't get me wrong. Like, whenever I see that, I'm like, oh my God, what a legend. Like, that's kind of dope. Like, if you really think about it.
Yeah. I'm just glad not to be working here right now because I'm enjoying doing like all the projects I've always said I was going to do and then just never did.
Yeah. You're like totally rehabbing your house, right?
More or less. And then I'm going to find out like all the bullshit I have going on that just pisses me off. Yeah, that's coming soon. I like we had to call a plumber to come fix our sink, and I was like, "Well, I'm glad." It looked like it was gonna be a real expensive fix, and I was like, "Well, I guess I'm glad I'm not on the hook for that."
That's rough, but you have a landlord, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're on the hook for that. That's cool.
Well, I thought I was gonna get a new vanity out of it, and that didn't happen. The guy was like, "Well, I kind of fixed it. It's good for now." I mean, it's like, "Thank you?"
Right?
Question marks.
Right now I'm trying to like, and I don't even care if people see this because like we're just being candid right now, but like I'm trying really I'm trying to be I'm trying really hard to get Jacob Wallace from Bro Job on the podcast on Discuss Metal. So let's just if you're watching this, send a message and be like, dude, you should do it, because that would be really cool, because I love that band. I love their YouTube fame. I love all of it pretty much, and I feel like that would be a really fun interview to do. But
what do you think?
Well, here's the thing, like this is the side of podcasting that I think that a lot of people don't really understand. Like, like I get messages from people all the time. Hey man, it was really cool when you talked to this person and you guys had a really cool conversation. You should try getting this other person on. And I'm like, yeah, here's the thing about the really cool episodes. For every really cool episode that you see, there's like 15 unreturned emails. or 15 unreturned Facebook messages, or I also have stooped low enough to stalk people on LinkedIn.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, whatever I got to do, I'll do it. But the potential is very high for there to be more amazing episodes, but you have to get people on board, and that's just the way it rolls.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I think you've seen the amount of.
Oh yeah, I read all the emails, and like the sheer amount of like negotiation that John does, where he's like, "Yeah, I know it's like a totally sober band, but like we're not, if they don't want to talk about like beer, we don't have to talk about it. Like it's fine." But they don't care.
Might have someone on the hook.
Got really, really cold in here for a second.
Oh no, that's just my.
I was doing a thing. Oh man, I'm tired. Yeah, at some point, like you guys are gonna be on the stream, and I'm just gonna be like,
Oh, it's almost like that Brock episode.
dude, that was rough. I gotta admit, that was good though. I like that. I mean, he told us everything, and then a week later, he told Doc everything. So
I wish I could figure out actually what the timeline of when. Like, there were a couple of things they were referencing, and I thought maybe perhaps it was like a few days afterward. But then when I listened back to it, because I rewound it, I was like, yeah, I don't know how long after you had done yours that I was there for that he ended up doing. So I was like, oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we definitely sat on it for a couple of weeks, so we could have potentially got that episode out a lot quicker. But we had so many like full transparency. As soon as COVID hit, I started getting messages back from people that had never responded to my messages originally, and were like, "Well, I've got some time now," So like,
I don't.
And I was like, "Well, let me look at my schedule and see if I can pencil you in somewhere." But
schedule
in my schedule, and pencil in. Who do you got? Who do you got on the hook?
Maybe nobody. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I asked somebody. I was actually trying to get Jesse from Misery Signals, but I think he's
that'd be cool.
Maybe he's gone to bed.
You should call Ken Susi. I'd be like, hey, dude. So my co-host said that the albums are, Oh, cool.
We got Damon from El Virtue.
Hello.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
Oh man, you wearing that hoodie? They're canceled.
Oh yeah.
No, Austin Carlisle is canceled.
Oh, I mean,
he is a Meissen. I thought you said you got your shit cut. It don't look cut.
No, not yet. Like right now, it's just kind of doing this.
You look like almost like Eddie Gordo from fucking Tekken.
Dude, a week ago, I had like a full fro. Like, I mean, just out every single angle. It was awesome.
That's the fun of doing these sometimes. Get to see people who are on the old books of faces and pull them in real quick.
There you go.
But so I mean, we're gonna hit you with that realness right now. Where the fuck is the new Virtue shit?
Yeah, no joke.
I'm actually working on it right now.
So we're actually taken away from it.
Dude, honestly, it was like I kind of got hit an impasse. Like, and I guess this is kind of the sucky thing is like I'm going to the studio tomorrow to do some pre-pro for the next 3 days. And the idea that I had just clicked in my brain where I was like, dang, that might not work. But the cool thing is I've been working on this other thing and I was like, oh, okay, well, this wasn't the plan, but this probably is going to turn into the plan. So we'll kind of see what happens, but it kind of sucks because you're like, dang, this was going to be really cool, or it sounds cool in my head. And then part of it was my fucking Reaper session froze.
We got it. You got a Reaper.
You better calm down. Reaper's great. Reaper's fantastic.
I liked him. He was my favorite singer of Seosin.
He was, yes. He is. Hey, unpopular opinion. He is.
Dude,
listen.
I totally think he was that first record they did with him is better than anything they ever will do with Anthony Green.
100,000%.
Just calling it like it said.
Super honest up in here today. Yeah.
Brutally speaking.
Yeah.
Just hot takes coming everywhere. But
by the way, speaking of hot takes, you posted that photo of you, and on one of the socials, you didn't post the long explanation of everything else, and I was like, this just looks really fucking weird. Where it's like, here's a photo of Damon, no caption. I think it was on Instagram, or I mean on Twitter. I think it was on Twitter. I think the Virtue thing posted, and it was just the photo of you, and I was like, with no caption. That's really awkward.
I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm not on Twitter. I don't post anything on Twitter, so. It is what it is, I guess.
Your guys let you down.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like, I mean, Twitter's a black hole anyway. I mean, all of this is a black hole, but it seemed to go over well. I mean, I guess it's crazy because, like, I didn't think much would come out of it, but it's nice that from traveling as much as I have and meeting people and, like, you kind of see that response and you're like, cool, man. Like, I'm glad people, A, don't think like that, B, want to try to help or figure out ways to help. And at the end of the day, like that whole session, even I'll, shout out Nick, like he just posted on Facebook one day. He's like, I've never protested. I don't really know where to begin. Like, and he's a photographer. Like, you're a person that can document stuff. So he's like, yeah, let me just come out and we'll hang out. We'll talk. Shoot it for free. I was like, I like free. I'm not gonna turn that down. But yeah, no, took him around Lansing, showed him a lot of like the different murals that have gone up and everything else, and showed him where the protests here have happened, just little events over that. And it's like, I try to educate and then also at the same time listen. So, it's cool.
Something it's kind of interesting. In your original post that was on here, I think, you had kind of made the mention of just, how you grew up and all that kind of stuff and the things that you like your mom kind of taught you and so forth. But the thing that was kind of interesting to me in thinking about it was like, you talked about how you've traveled, now due to the band and so forth. And it does make me wonder, like, do you the racism, I guess, that you have experienced here in the States touring, do you notice this as much abroad, or are they a more, I don't want to necessarily say cultured people, but more progressive?
It's yes and no.
Okay.
So when you do meet more like-minded individuals, they are very like-minded. They're very forward-thinking, and it's like, it's like talking to yourself. On the flip side, and I think maybe this might be, I'll speak mainly for like the European stuff. It's like they're just very blunt no matter what.
Oh yeah, the European honesty. That's a running joke with a lot of the band people that have been on this show.
But you'll also get like, I mean, you've had flat out neo-Nazism, weird nationalist people from these like odd countries, and it's like they won't hesitate to just be like, hey, we don't like you, and we're gonna let you know about that right now. Straight up. Like there's no but like with the States and like Canada and stuff like that, or whatever, it's like there's a little bit of a buffer where they're like, I don't like you, but I'm gonna kind of skirt around it sometimes.
I mean, the balls on some of these dudes, like honestly, like it's weird to me that somebody would just, I don't know, like because I live in a world where like everything that me and John do is like, it's all virtual, right? So like people will say things about us, but they wouldn't ever say them to us like to our face.
Yeah.
So to see something like that, it's just mind blowing that somebody would be that hateful to actually like come up and get in your face and just to be like, yeah, we don't like you. Well, why? Well, because whatever stupid. I can't understand why crazy works like crazy, but it just blows my mind. Like I don't know how. I mean, how do you compartmentalize that?
Well, you don't want to go to jail in a different country. That's
for sure.
First and foremost.
Seen that fucking movie.
That could be bad. Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I guess, like I said, I can expound about it a little bit more now. It's like, I kind of put in my post where it's like, you kind of just grow up. When you grow up with something and you don't know that you've experienced it, but then you start to kind of become cognizant of the world around you. It's like, you're just like, you know what? In a sad way, shape, or form, it's kind of the way things are right now.
Yeah.
At whatever moment that you experience that. And you just kind of have to make a choice. You can either, lash out. You can, I don't know, whatever choice that you make at that point. But it's like, you realize that it's not going to go away overnight. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm going to say something. There's going to be a repercussion, whatever. I'm going to say nothing. There'll still be that thing will still exist. So at that point, it's up to how you were raised, what your, moral compass is.
Right.
And you kind of, like anything else, man, you kind of, bad stuff happens, but you got to keep moving.
For sure.
I think oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think the thing that's been the craziest about all of this shit is, I was thinking to myself, as I've been more, as my wife and I have traveled more, I realized I've gotten a lot more different perspective on things in general, because I see, the way people are living differently than I see different parts of the world and how, at least the US anyway, and seeing like, when we went to New Orleans, it was kind of crazy to see how, you could still kind of feel a little bit of what Katrina did still going on down there, that they're still kind of in a state of rebuild. But you get a sense of the culture that, was from there and so forth. So it's just, I think what's interesting in all of this, with social media giving a voice to a lot of ignorant people, as well as giving us the ability to see a lot of more worldly things that aren't just the biased focus of whatever the news wants to present to us or whatever, that it's been interesting to kind of take it all in and realize that the people who are kind of speaking the most about world affairs are the people who have never fucking left their city ever. Yeah. And the people who are talking the loudest are the people who don't know shit about anything. So you're just kind of like, I don't know. It's just something in my privilege of being able to be able to travel and go see some of the world that I've been, and to talk to people who have traveled the world, that I'm able to kind of see through some of this shit and just kind of be like, yo, this is kind of whack.
Right.
Yeah. Dude, no, and again, like you already kind of touched on it, man. It's like social media is a hell of a thing. People that think they know stuff are just going to post fucking satire articles or post.
Isn't that the wildest fucking thing? The fact that we have, like, literally we have, either of you two could post something and I have the ability to look it up and be like, within 5 minutes, be able to go, well, I found 5 articles that disprove that, or that's not a legit thing, or it's from 5 years ago. Yep. But is a thing just as a whole where it's like, so why don't people take advantage of that? Why are we so stupid? Or we're just like, whatever we see, we're like, oh, well, it's got to be the way it is.
Just laziness, man. That's all it is. It's, if something is more than likely put together for you, it's like, if you came home and, your wife cooked dinner, you're less inclined to cook dinner. Like, you're not going to go, oh man, honey, you made an awesome meatloaf. Let me just go make this fucking steak over here, and waste another however many minutes of my time. It's like, it's ready-made. It's there. It sounds good. And especially I guess this is the other downside of social media, is like, it has now created so many little divisions of ideals and things. It's like, you can find if you're a weird Nazi dude, cool. You can find a group of people that thinks like you. If you're pro-black, if you're pro whatever, if you hate women, if you love women, it's like, there's any group for it. And those people have a voice, fortunately or unfortunately, whichever situation, you want to talk about. But it's like,
I think that's actually something that, I'd made the comment about, where it's like, sometimes it's shocking how there is a network or a group for everybody, for no matter what you're into. But the other weird thing about that is sometimes is because you're able to select and block people. Like, oh, I don't like Damon, I don't like something you said. Block, you're gone. Right. So then all my feed is all I want to see. It's you can make you can make your quote unquote online world whatever it is you want it to be. And that's not the fucking real world. And I think that's why you're also seeing people have the fucking meltdowns in real life that they do, because you don't have a block button or a mute button or a whatever. So when someone says something and they're adamant about talking to you about how you're wrong or giving you the work that maybe you deserve for a lot of the shit, it's like, yo, then you need to that was something Doc Coyle and I talked about, actually. It was just like, everybody has a voice now, and maybe not everyone deserves to have a voice, but it's like when you're able to tailor every experience based to what you want, how does that life prepare you to interact with real people?
It doesn't. And I mean, what's your name? Daniel? Sorry. I'm trying to set up a fucking thing because this is driving me nuts. You kind of already, even just asking the question earlier, like, how do I compartmentalize certain things?
Yeah. That's
a byproduct of growing up when we all did, I'm going to assume.
Yeah.
And, you couldn't just create a manufactured bubble for your own ideals. You had to go out into the real world. You experience different things. You experience different people. And if there was something that was different from your own, you could either run from it or you engage in a conversation.
Yeah.
And either your thought process, your perception of reality changes, or you change somebody else's perception of reality. Now it's just literally, it's like, hey, I don't like, and that's, I guess, one thing that I don't like about a lot of the stuff that you see just with arguments or with anything else. Like, yeah, there's always gonna be hostile people and threads and this, that, and the third. But I don't like, especially people that I do have common ground with, and they just go, man, this person over here said this stuff, or, Donald Trump, fuck Trump. If you like Trump, then fuck you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't like Trump personally. I don't like some of the things that he's put into place, the rhetoric that he spews, this, that, and the third. But I do have friends that, and this is, I guess, the gray line, and some people are different. It's like, I have, a good friend of mine who is very right. We argue all the time, but we always come back to, hey, we're friends with it. We're this. But it's like, at what point does someone's political beliefs actually become their beliefs? Because, yeah, if you believe that Trump is a misogynistic, homophobic, this, that, and the third, and you have somebody that believes in that, do they in turn believe in what they believe, or is it just simply politics? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard because I think it's like with anything, and this is a weird comparison to make, but it's 11 o'clock, so I'm just gonna make it. But like, it's almost kind of like I'm not even going to use the original example because it's too offensive, but like, it's almost like super religious people. It's only politics if it's words. But I feel like whenever your actions, like when you go out and you act on it, you act on a, like whenever you act on a political ideal, especially when it's something as strong as racism or homophobia or any of that stuff, once it goes off of the virtual space and becomes reality, and it becomes how you actually interact with other people. Because, like, I get what you're saying, because there's like tons of people on the right that I'm friends with. I grew up in like Podunk, Missouri, so like there's more people that are extreme right than are not, Okay. But like, it's whenever I see those people mistreating somebody because they're gay or because they're black or because they're any type of anything other than what the normal is for that town, that year or whatever it is. So I think the line is essentially whenever you take those thoughts and you put them into action. And I think it's worse whenever that action is getting up in a protester's face and screaming at them. Like there's that famous picture online of this white dude screaming at this like white girl that's there to support like BLM, and it'd be this like it became this like famous picture because it's just some dude that like is like, I don't agree with this. I'm going to scream in your face. I'm going to treat you like garbage in real life because that's the type of mindset that I am, that I'm trying to further, that I'm trying to make like a real thing. And so I think really, you know, from my perspective, that's where the line is where it goes into reality and it becomes a representation of how you actually treat other human beings.
Damon, let me ask you a question, because I said this to Dan last week when we were doing some of the intros and shit. How does it feel for you living in Lansing, knowing that where you live is basically what started a lot of these memes of like, this is called civil protest, and this is like, I told Dan, I was like, it makes me feel ashamed to be from Michigan and be like an hour away from that.
It's, oh man, what's crazy is like, and this might be an unpopular thing. I'm not ashamed per se, but it just sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks because, again, you have, and this will be the frame of reference, because you have two counterpoints now. You have the protests that we had because of George.
By the way, Dan,
Taylor.
He lives in Lansing, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, I gathered that.
Okay.
And so you have that the one side, but then you had, while we were in quarantine, and you have people just breaking, you know, the laws that the governor had put into place, showing up to the Capitol with guns, fully armed, vests, everything else, and the police don't.
And blocking a one-year only hospital.
Oh, yeah, 1,000%, just causing mayhem as far as traffic. But they're gonna call that peaceful, and it's like, dude, they're not gonna. They didn't interject. They didn't do anything. The only thing, you know, there were some tickets for, again, blocking a main road. But outside of that, it's like, and it sucks to really think about it. It's like, imagine if you had however many of those people, even if it was 30, 40, 50, whatever it is, if you had 10 people of color show up to the Capitol with assault rifles, and hunting rifles and anything else.
Total massacre.
You might be talking about something way crazier than
Kansas City.
Exactly. It's like,
or Kent State, whatever it was.
That's the horrible, you know, I guess the dissonance that we have is like, one thing can be, oh, these people are protesting their right for, you know, to not be in lockdown, to end this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, you need to stay your ass home because the coronavirus is a real thing.
Right.
But you're going to just break those laws. But then when other people are peacefully protesting somebody that had a knee in the back of their neck and killed them, it's like, okay, now you want to, you know, use force. Now you want to tear gas. Now you want to do all this.
What's the thing that's been crazy about that? That shit's not even illegal. Or, I mean, tear gas is not legal.
It's insane, man. It's just, and again, it's just the with Lansing, that's the part where that makes me, I want to say ashamed, but it's just like, come on, man, you can do better. We can do, like Michigan, Lansing has done better, and that was a part where they failed miserably. So
I think the hard part too is that, like, you know, that scenario that you described, where if like 40 or 50 people of color show up with assault rifles at the Capitol.
Dude, it doesn't even need to be 40 or 50. It can just be.
it could be like one dude, like
yeah,
you know.
Exactly. Well, I'm sure some people, like three POCs is probably a gang to them.
Well, and that's the frustrating thing, though, is that there are, you know, especially where I grew up in Missouri, you know, like that. I hate to say it, but that's like a redneck fantasy scenario too, because like, and like, I'm just gonna say it because like I'm just gonna say it. I don't care. Like, it's one of those. It's one of those things where like all these dudes have all these guns stockpiled, like for what reason? You know, and don't get me wrong, like these are the same dudes that are going to the Capitol, but like when those white dudes march on the Capitol with assault rifles, like the cops that are there are like, oh, that's John from 2 houses down. You know, that's Bill from across the street. That's da 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 da. Like they know these dudes, like they're all friends, you know, and so they're not gonna throw anything out there. But like these dudes that have all these weapons stockpiled or whatever, like, dude, they can't wait for like, you know, a reason to kill somebody.
Just it's crazy, man.
Because what other reason is there? What other reason is there to target practice day in and day out and organize these these protests of like, but like they're protesting because like they can't go to fucking Starbucks.
The bar,
you know,
this, that,
yeah.
And again, I get it because some people I can't tell you that I know all the protesters and this and that.
Yeah.
Like I understand why you're doing it. Business is shut down. You know, a lot of small businesses have gone under. A lot of people have felt like the economic hardship of it. But it's like, hey, guess what, man? It's not just you. It's all of us. Like, this is not a Black Lives Matter thing. This is not a whatever, you know, the case of. This is called, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything special here.
Yeah.
Like, you going to the Capitol to showcase your displeasure and show off your guns and call our governor out of her, you know, to make jokes about her gender or say she can't lead or do this, that, and the third. Regardless of the politics, man, she's doing her best or doing what she thinks is in the best interest for us. The whole country is in this situation. It's not just you.
Right.
This is almost kind of like a reverse of the whole Black Lives Matter thing where you're talking to, like, you know, people get mad when you isolate, but it's like, that's not a time you can isolate because we are all feeling it. Yes, you're feeling it. Little Jimmy over here, Karen here, you know, whatever. It's like, you doing that's not going to get our state open back up. In reality, you're just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you're gonna put everybody else on edge. That may or may not have been on edge before, but like, yeah, it awakens feelings and unfortunately old prejudices and things like that. That, you know, maybe if things were going well, people wouldn't necessarily feel as hard as they're feeling now. But like, it's reached a fever pitch to the point where, you know, everybody's just like, you have, like I described, like the rednecks that are just waiting for it. Because like, I remember when lockdown started, like in my state, everybody was like, you know, oh yeah, it's lockdown. But I remember thinking, like, because I got pulled over 2 times on my way to work when COVID, you know, was like really important to our state. For some reason, it's not important now, but it was then. And so we, you know, when I was driving to work, I had a cop pull me over and be like, hey, you know, where are you going? What are you doing? And I remember thinking, like, dude, can you imagine if like a black cop pulled a white dude over and asked him why he was going to work in Missouri? Like that would end in a homicide, one way or the other. You know, whoever draws first, like Wild West style, right? And like, because these dudes are waiting for somebody to call them out. They're waiting for somebody to you know, to do, you know, to do the one thing that they feel like is their justification for killing another person. You know, and like, because that's how I feel, like, because I was raised in it, so it's not like I'm not like one of those dudes that's just out there like trashing like redneck people, but like, because I grew up in it, I see it for what it actually is. You know.
Good Lord.
So it's just been terrifying, you know, in that regard, because like I got like little kids, and I've been trying to like figure out a way that I can talk about this stuff with them without, you know, accidentally like saying something stupid or you know, like yeah, like, and it's weird because like you're trying to explain what's going on to little kids, and they're looking at you like, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, yeah, I agree, it doesn't make any sense. But this is the way people are acting out here.
Yeah, and I mean, the only way I know, one of my other friends, he's also got young kids, and like he's had to have that talk with them, and like, I don't know if this is the right thing, but he's just like, you know, he tried to explain it a little bit, but then at the end of it was like, look, you'll understand when you're older, but this is history. And I guess his little boy was like, history? Is that good? I want to be a part of history. He goes, yes, you want to be on the right part of history. We are on the right side. Oh no. No, it's, you know, and it's not bad. It's just one of those where it's like, yeah, again, if you're at an age where you don't necessarily know what's going on, you as a parent, it sounds like you're doing a really good job. Again, you just do your best to try to explain the situation it's honestly shield your kids from it to a degree.
Yeah.
Educate them as much as they can, because again, it's tackling like the racism side of it. It's like, having these talks with people, and they're like, everybody's got bias, everybody has their own little things about them, myself included. Just growing up, you have to unlearn certain behaviors and things, and it's like, no one is born a racist. You learn it from your surroundings, from the people around you. And if you're surrounded by positivity, you're surrounded by knowledge and people that are progressive thinking, then you will less likely, grow into something that is hateful and has those views. But if you don't, if you have a parent that's like, on any side, if it's fuck these people, these people are stupid, or, don't go do this because they'll do this. It's like, no, you don't want to pass that stuff down to your kids, because then in the macro sense, it becomes harder to move forward as a society and as a culture when you are ingraining the people that are next in line to think the exact same way as you. That's why we are in this situation still, like, the whole thing of it's crazy to think about. Like, we're at what, 60, 70 years removed ish from the second go round of civil rights and women's voting and all of this, when originally, obviously it's 1863 and 1865 of, slaves being quote unquote free. But then you look at the fact that even after all of that, there was still 100 years of Jim Crow and basically just moving fucking backwards from what happened with the Civil War and everything else involved. And it's like, hopefully we're not doing the same thing now, where it's like, even just this short removed from the riots and everything else from Dr. King and Malcolm X and everybody else that gave their lives for it. It's like, dude, there was progress. We don't need to be going backwards like we did at the turn of the 1900s.
Well, yeah. And like, there's all of my conservative friends are like, oh, well, Martin Luther King said, and da 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 da. And I'm like, you're acknowledging the fact that he was also killed. Like, like this was not something that somebody was saying that like brought everybody together. I think the biggest misconception that people that at least where I grew up, people seem to have is that the civil rights movement was successful. And I think it was successful in certain aspects.
Yeah.
I think it did more. I think that it definitely was a step in the right direction. But for being a all encompassing solution to the problem, absolutely not even close.
No.
And yeah, like you said, like with the Jim Crow laws after the Civil War and and all of that, they're just what I can't figure out, and this is the part that like really affects my heart so much, is that like I can't figure out why there is as much hatred as there is when there's no substance to back it up, and that's the thing that I struggle with the most, is I just don't feel like there's any like, maybe it was just because I was raised right, like my parents did as good of a job as they could, but even my own parents have a certain sense of, well, I'm not racist, but and all that stuff. So like they were like maybe like half as racist as their parents were. You know what I mean? So like I don't know if it's like, I don't know if we just have to wait for like the generations to catch up to it, or what the deal is, but like it's definitely something that that I've struggled with, because it's really hard for me now in 2020 to get together with my family, and then a member of the family says a racist thing, and then it's like everybody's like, well, just calm down, that's just the way that he is, and it's yada 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 yada. And it's like, yeah, but it's not acceptable. And so like, and everybody's like, yeah, but you don't want to create division, you don't want to do this and this. But like when you use logic like that, excuses like that,
you're enabling the behavior to still
100%. Yeah.
And to kind of piggyback off of what you said, it's like, yeah, I mean, again, something that I kind of mentioned in the post that I made, it's like early on, it's like I already knew, like, civil rights laws that got re-put into place in the 60s. Let's emphasize that, because it should have happened 100 and some odd years ago. It's a step. It's, you'll have, like you said, if you're not you, but just in general, like if your grandparents had a specific set of views, your parents might have half of those.
Right.
That means we might have a little bit, a quarter of it. And even still, like a good example, like I was talking to the other day, and I, will fully admit this. It's like when in the mid to late 90s and somewhat even early 2000s, when I'm like a teenager, and it's like, pardon my French, but like people are like, oh man, this stuff's gay, or you're a fag, or you're a faggot, and blah, blah, blah. And nobody thought twice about it. It was in pop culture. It's in movies still, like when you rewatch certain things.
Yeah.
And obviously you hit an age where you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I have gay friends. I have, I know people that like they as they're coming out, or as they're growing and dealing with their emotions, like they're struggling with, gender identity and this, that, and the third. And it's like, oh, okay, well, whoops, my bad. Let me take a step back and try to get myself out of the habit. So it's like, again, it's unlearning those, and it will take time. It's in our lifetime, we will not see full change. It's a generational thing. Just like it's a generational thing for the system to be put into place like this. This is just our way of, we're a step, we're a rung in the ladder. We are, mile marker number, whatever, on the road of progression, recovery essentially. So it's like, all we can do is if you look at the big picture, you just keep it in sight. And like you're doing right now, you have young children. You teach them everything that is wrong and right, and what to do, what not to do. And that keeps that thought process alive, that keeps that going, so that when they are old enough and they can develop their own thoughts and perceptions of the world and everything else, then maybe this won't be an issue, or as much. If it's a quarter now, maybe with your children and my friends' children, and hopefully my own someday too, it'll be an 8th, it'll be a 16th, it'll be a 32nd, and you just keep breaking it down until it'll never fully go away. There will always, even if you had perfect harmony, you'll have disruptors. You'll have those people that they will come up, but hopefully we get into a place where it's like, when that stuff does come up, it gets immediately shut down. There's no century long battles for the stuff. It's like, oh yeah, we don't do that. You're snuff that out.
Yeah.
You're in jail. You do this, whatever.
That's the hard part, because like human nature dictates that, you're going to always pick on some group that's different than you. So like once it stops becoming a race thing, then it becomes a short people versus tall people, or like that sort of thing. And like, but you're right. Like, hopefully once we get to that point, they're like, hey, this is starting to sound like hopefully in like 200 years, they're like, this is starting to sound like that whole racism thing that people had problems with, 100 years ago, and that they can shut it down immediately.
Exactly. It's like you'll think like, man, why were people killing each other over the color of their skin? Oh, right. I don't know. It sounds fucking crazy. It's the same thing of like, I'm not religious, but again, in the Bible, it's like, oh, you cheated on your wife, we're going to stone you to death. At some point in time, you realize that's not a fucking good idea.
Right.
That's murder. That's terrible.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny too, because like that concept is in the Bible, but the people that are super racist are the ones that are going to be the first ones to quote Bible to you.
Yeah, they probably, they can quote, they can quote as much as they want.
They quote till they go blue in the face. Yep.
The thing was written eons ago, and again, there's some good stories in there. There's some good things. Like if you need guidelines to live by, yes, they are applicable today. But if you're taking that thing at face value, and sorry to whoever's watching, but you might want to get yourself reevaluated.
For sure.
Just my thoughts.
Well, guys, this has been really cool, but I'm going to actually have to bow out of the conversation because I need to. I've got a tonsil infection. I need to get some rest, but I really value this conversation that we had, and I hope that we can do it again sometime soon. But I gotta hop off here.
Seems like a good time.
But you guys absolutely go at it, and I'll watch the rest of it later. whenever it posts up.
I think it's a good time to end it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I should probably get back to work because I gotta get up in a little while. So
anybody who's watching this, where can they find the band real quick?
ofvirtueband.com. I mean, that's our main domain. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. 2021 playing a show somewhere.
Somewhere near you in 2021. Yep.
Fair enough. Suck.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right. I'm out of here. Peace. I'll send you those files. Let's be real tomorrow.